Country Boy Waterbeds has over 50 different beds sale price for the holidays.
Question mark to me is our depth more than anything else. If we start Barry and Jeff, we don't have anyone other than Mark McSwain that's played very much to come off the bench. So I guess our depth.
And the defense, too?
Well, that's always a question. You don't know how hard they'll work, but I think our defense will come along as the season goes along, but I'm not so sure about our depth. That's something we'll just have to wait and see.
They've been very good in practice as far as their effort goes practically every day. They've been a real good practice team, and the kids seem to get along real well together, and they've accepted coaching real well. The thing that keeps you awake at night is going to be our defense. It looks like that we're going to be able to put 5 kids out there that are going to be pretty good, but then we're going to go to our freshmen, it looks like, off the bench, and you know how freshmen are in that, and that's the scary part. Will we be able to stop somebody? Anytime you have a group of young players, you've got to do more coaching, and you've got to have a lot more patience, because it takes them a while to learn, you know, the system, and it just doesn't happen. There's a lot to learn in the way we play defense and the way we play offense and that, and it just takes time, and of course, Denny has an amazing amount of patience with young people.
I want to improve on my overall game from last year. I want to look like a sophomore. I want to have the same old mistakes and trying to correct all my mistakes and trying to iron out everything.
And what have you worked on most during the off-season to improve?
I worked on my dribbling a lot and calming down, you know, not rushing my game too much.
Were you a little bit hyper?
Yeah, I was hyper. I was trying to impress and trying to just do everything right. And, you know, what happened, it led to messing up, you know.
You get away from the flow of the game?
And getting nervous and stuff, and I don't want to be like that this year.
This year, what do you take the most pride in an area in which you've improved quite a bit?
Rebounding. I want to be a better rebounder. I want to be the one that the coach rely on to get the rebounds.
You know, I'm trying to do a couple things this year that I didn't do last year, which, you know, this year trying to take it to hoe a little bit more and get myself on the free throw line, because, you know, I've been here, this is my 3rd season starting here, and I really haven't been on the free throw line that much. And I think, you know, I need to get on the free throw line.
What else are you working on?
Ball handling, you know, passing. I'm trying to just improve my overall game.
This is your 3rd year here. How does this team, in your opinion, compare to the previous 2 for you?
It's going to be a fun team to watch. The other 2 was probably, you know, we had bigger guys on the inside. This year we're a little bit smaller than what we have been in the last 2 years, but I think we're, you know, a little bit quicker than what we was the last 2 years. So you know, we're going to make some turnovers, but I think we'll, you know, make other teams, you know, do the same thing.
It's going to be an exciting team.
Oh, definitely. You know, the fans, I think, is going to enjoy watching this, because, you know, we get to run the ball up down the floor. It's fun for us as much as it is for the fans to watch.
Barry Sumter's got a lot of pressure on him to come through, and I think he'll rise to the occasion. I really do. I think we'll fare pretty well. Maybe start slow, but I think we'll build through the year.
Danny, you excited about this team?
Yeah, I am. They're young, but I think they've got that willingness to learn and play hard, and I think you can really overcome a lot of deficits by playing hard, and I think we'll turn out real well.
Year before last, we lost Rodney and Scooter, and we had to rebuild from there, and I think we're going to do the same this year. We got a couple freshmen in with a lot of talent that I think can really help us this year, and then there's a couple players, Danny Mitchell and Mark McSwain, is going to help us a lot, and I think I can help myself if I get myself in, you know, real good condition by the time, you know, the Indiana game.
What do you think is going to be the key for this basketball team? Or let me put it this way, what do you think is the strong suit?
Well, I think right now what we're going to have to do is be a lot closer and stick together, you know, and play harder and play 40 minutes basketball. We can't slack anytime because we're playing some teams with great talent, and what we're going to have to do is just go out and play hard every game and not slack up.
All for one and one for all?
You're right.
How has Barry Sumter improved from last year?
Well, I think I've gotten more aggressive and a little bigger and a little stronger, and just learn more about the game. And I think they helped me more than anything.
What do you need to work on yet?
Well, my overall aggression. I mean, consistency all through the game. You know, just from start to finish. And I think that will be important as to how many games we win and everything, because a lot depends on me, and I know that.
Going to be some up and down spots, just like every year. And it's one thing I know about Louisville fans, they'll stick behind us. So that's why I'm not too much worried about anything. We just go out and give 100%. That's all they ask for, so I ain't worried about it. The freshmen, like you got Herbert and Mike Abrams and Kevin, they're going to help us just because it's a relaxed atmosphere. They came into a program where everybody is having fun. So when they can be relaxed and having a good time, they play good.
Being my first year is kind of exciting how it's going to come out about right now. Going in against a good team like Indiana, it's always going to be hard on me, so I'm just going to try to take it easy and concentrate. Good thing about it that we all play together, and I think that's going to help a lot when we go out there. So in case somebody get down, we can build each other up in case something happens. So I think that's a good thing about us.
Everybody can go as hard as he wants and won't have to worry about, you know, being replaced because the person who's going to replace them should, you know, do as well as they just did. Because, you know, we're young, so young and inexperienced, but we're all anxious to play and everybody's ready. And we're playing together as a team. That's all we need.
We have a lot of fancy players on that team, so it might be more like a fans team. You know, they like to see a lot of oohs and ahs, and this is the type of team that we have this year. We know everybody on our team can score, but we're going to have to play a lot of defense. So I think offense is our strongest point, but we're going to have to work on defense a little bit more.
You got to have a good time. I mean, if you want to play basketball, you got to have fun, really. I mean, it's no fun if you just go out there and you take it too seriously.
Today's
in high school because, you know, most of my friends and stuff say I play a little bit like George Gervin in the NBA, who they call the Iceman. So I kind of got that name from the way I'm built, too, because he's kind of the slim type and I'm the slim type. And we pretty much big guards, so they start calling me the Iceman.
You remember the first game you got into as a Louisville Cardinal? What was it like? What were the feelings like? Because now you're just an old man coming in here to your final season.
Well, the first game I had, it was kind of a bad game for me because I was a little nervous. It's my first time playing a collegiate game, and I shot an air ball my first shot, so once I got that nervousness out of me, I was okay, though.
Times have changed.
Yeah, they have. I'm experienced now, and I'm looking forward to taking them shots now, you know, without any nervousness on my mind.
Your senior season at the University of Louisville, what are the goals for Milt Wagner?
Well, my goals is to have a successful season and do the best as I can to make our team successful.
What do you think that's going to require? How good is this team going to be, Milt?
Well, this team's going to be as good as they want to be, really, because if they go out there and play hard, we can beat just about any team in the country because we have the talent. We just have to go out there and play hard at defense because that'll be probably our big question mark this year is our team defense.
We're going to be a closer team, a team that's going to help each other on the court and off the court. And I think we'll need that going into this year because it's going to be a year where we're going to go against teams that have all their starters back, a lot of seniority, a lot of, you know, previous play. So we're going to have to help each other and work to, you know, do things that we need to work on, like rebounding and playing that serious, tight defense.
Between last season and this season, what's Billy T worked on to improve as a basketball player?
Well, I've worked on my overall game, passing, rebounding, and offense. Defense is going to be important this year because of the absence of Charles Jones. And if I can be strong in the middle and offensively as far as rebounding and defense, I think we'll be a strong team this year.
You know, sometimes you may have to play center as well as forward. Does that bother you?
Well, it doesn't bother me because I think once we get started, the way we play, we switch a lot and we run a lot. I think we'll all be playing a little center, me, Emmanuel, and Mark, in place of Barry. So we're capable of doing it. But like I said, we're going to be quick this year, and that should help, you know, substitute for the lack of size.
One thing that we've always talked about in the past with the Louisville basketball team is that cohesiveness, the chemistry. Can you explain what it is?
Well, it's just, I think it happens as much off the court as it does on the court, Dave. It's a feeling of being a team and not so much thinking about individuals and living together, liking each other. When that decision comes on the court, when you make a decision whether to pass the ball, take the shot, you remember this guy's my friend and we're very close off the court, and you make that pass at the right time instead of taking a shot maybe off balance. So this team seems to have some of that kind of cohesiveness, so I hope it can carry over throughout the season.
Unselfishness.
Sure, unselfish, a very unselfish team.
What's the biggest question you have about this team that'll be answered as the season goes along, Wade?
Well, our schedule is very tough. We're playing some of the best teams in the country, and
hopefully you've got to put together, 5 and 6 or 7 and 8 wins against that kind of schedule to say for people to think you're a good basketball team. But as far as our personnel and our talent, I'm impressed with it. Our depth is good. But there again, when you're playing the Pauls and Kentuckys and Indianas and SMUs and Virginias and those kind of teams, you just got to have a sustained effort night after night.
You have to be the team leader. You have to go out there and get the guys ready to play each and every game and do the things, whatever it takes for us to win. And as a team, all we have to do is go out there and play good, aggressive defense and then execute on our offense, and we should be successful.
What are you most pleased with going into this season?
Well, our guys' attitude, the guys really been working hard in practice every day, and they really show that they really want to be winners out there and play hard. So I think if we go in the game with attitude like that, we should come out successful most of the time.
Do you need to be truly satisfied as a Louisville Cardinal, a first-team All-American?
Yes, I would be satisfied in being first-team All-American, but I appreciate all the pub that they have given me this year, but basically I would like to have a winning season, and hopefully we can get to the Final Four. I think that would make my year, too.
What's been the greatest memory for you as a Cardinal?
Well, getting to the Final Four, my sophomore and freshman year, I think that was a big thrill. And my biggest thrill is to win it now. That's all I'm looking forward to right now.
We are young, and Milt's the leader on the team, and we're going to have to play as a team. That's one weakness, and also our lack of, big man in the middle. We're going to have to make up by quickness, being quick on the press, quick in our offense, and that right there is going to be what we have to work on this year.
Is your personal goal making an All-America team?
That's always my goal, to improve my game, and to, whatever honors come with improvement, I'll accept. But I'm looking forward to a good year. I'm healthy, I'm strong, positive attitude, and I think the players are all, pulling together for each other. And I think that'll help the team this year.
One of the things that Darrell Griffith went through when he came here is having to live up to something, whatever that something might be. Have you felt that in your seasons at Louisville so far, having to live up to maybe something that you can never live up to?
Well, you just, like I said, you give 100% every time you're out on the court, and you play as hard as you can and work hard, and whatever you receive in return is good, but I don't think I'm going to put myself on a pedestal, say I got to work to, be this good, or people want me to be like this. I'm just going to play as hard as I can play and be as good as I can be and go from there. But like you said, the pressure's there, but you have to just go ahead and play and forget about the pressure. And when the ball is up in the air on the tap, we're just thinking win-win and play like a team and do the things we got to do to win, and that'll take care of the pressure.
Any reason why you guys can't win 20?
No reason. No reason. I think we should be able to win 20 if we play like a team, work hard, and we have been working hard. And I think the people out there will be surprised at what we'll be able to do this year.
This team is going to be a good team, though. There's only time would tell. We play Saturday, and we'll see how good we'll be on that day.
Do you think it's going to be tough going in Indiana like it was against UK last year?
Oh, yeah. Indiana got all their starters back, and they one game away from the Final Four last year, and it's tough to beat them up there at Bloomington. So we have our work cut out for us.
It's going to be a great challenge to you. You remember how you opened against UK a year ago. You guys stunk it up.
Yeah, well, we usually start off slow, at the beginning of the season, but we're looking forward to having changes about that type thing this year. So we're going to see if we can go out there and play as hard as we play at the end of the season, at the beginning of the season this year.
I think the thing that's been the most pleasant surprise is the depth. I think we're going to have a lot more depth than we've had in the last couple of years. The freshmen have come in, they pick things up in a hurry, and they're a little bit better basketball players than we thought. Of course, Kevin's been injured, and it's really hard to tell right now what kind of contribution he's going to make, but from watching him in high school and so forth, I don't think there's any doubt of his ability to contribute. They're going to have to play well every night out, and I think that's one thing about this team. I think they're going to play hard every time out, and I think they're going to execute well. There's going to be some games we won't execute well enough, but I think we'll play hard every time out. I look to have a pretty good year.
Do you ever say to yourself, I'm going to have to do a little bit better coaching job or more coaching because of the inexperience sometimes than I have in the past?
Well, I think you try to do the best job you can do every year, regardless of who you have back. It might be more important this year because of the fact that we don't have as much experience. So the better job I do, of course, the quicker they'll come along.
Have you had fun so far?
We haven't lost a game, so it's been great so far.
Beginning his 14th season, Denny looks forward to maintaining his amazing record as boss of the Louisville Cardinals, winning at least 20 games a season. Yes, indeed, it's that time again, and for the Louisville Cardinals, the countdown to the new season has reached 0. It is basketball time. I'm Dave Connor.
And right now, we're set to tip off a new season of NCAA basketball on CBS. It's the Louisville Cardinals against the Indiana Hoosiers.
Ball on CBS have been hard to put down. 1982, the road to New Orleans, with the final brick laid by freshman Michael Jordan of North Carolina.
18.
Shot, Jordan! Michael Jordan! '83, the road to Albuquerque, a yellow brick road for North Carolina State and Jim Valbano. Oh, it's a long ways. They won it! On the dunk! 1984, the road to Seattle, and the rocky road of '82 finally turned smooth for the Georgetown Hoyas. 1985, and the soon-to-be-written Chapter 4, with the final lines to be inscribed from Rupp Arena in the heart of basketball country. And the road to Lexington begins for CBS at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana, with a top 20 matchup between the Indiana Hoosiers and the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville returns 3 starters, including Milt Wagner, the Cardinals' man in the clutch. Indiana has all 5 starters back off the team that upset #1 North Carolina in last year's tournament. All the ingredients are here, including a first-time ever meeting of 2 of the most respected coaches in the game, Bobby Knight and Denny Crum. Coming up, Indiana and Louisville today on CBS.
Hoosiers is sponsored by Budweiser. For a matchup of preseason top 20 teams. Hi, everybody. I'm Frank Lieber. Welcome to another great season of NCAA basketball. On the home of the NCAA championship, CBS Sports starts here in Bloomington. It will end in Lexington next April. Ironically, these 2 schools just 90 miles apart, but yet this is their first meeting since 1959 on the basketball court. With me is Billy Packer for Indiana. Case of what a difference a year makes.
Well, it really is amazing, Frank. They didn't have any but 4 starters off the ball club 2 years ago. They started basically 18 different lineups last year. Now, although this team is still extremely young, it's very experienced because they've got all their starters back.
Well, Louisville's lost a couple of great players to the pros with Lancaster Gordon and Charles Jones. They're a little thin, aren't they?
They really are. For the first time in a long time, Denny Crum doesn't have a bench. And that's going to be the key to today's game. Does Bobby Knight get to use his, or does Denny Crum keep the patience nice and slow so that he only has to play with 6 men?
Prior to the tip-off, we have a very special ceremony here today. And here's the public address announcer at Assembly Hall, Chuck Crabb.
Ladies and gentlemen, this past summer, the United States won the Olympic gold medal in men's basketball. Today, Indiana University salutes the head coach of the United States team, IU coach Bob Knight. University President Dr. John W. Ryan and Director of Athletics Ralph N. Floyd are presenting Coach Knight with a golden basketball trophy to commemorate the USA effort. Also, Coach Knight is receiving an American flag which flew over the United States Capitol building in Washington, D.C. August 10th, 1984, the day the United States won the gold medal. Congratulations, Coach Knight, on a job well done.
at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana for the start of the 1984-85 college basketball season. And let's take a look at the starting lineup. First of all, for Louisville, 3 starters back. Billy Thompson and Manuel Forrest will be on the front line. Barry Sumter, the center, and Milt Wagner and Jeff Hall will be the starting guards. For Indiana, Mike Giomi and Daryl Thomas will be at the forwards. Uwe Blob will be in the middle, and Bruce Alford and Winston Morgan in the backcourt. 3 officials here. Rich Weiler, the referee, Jim Bain, and Ed Hightower is going to say there is one rule change this year. Billy Packard, you might explain it regarding the coach's box.
Well, it's going to be really interesting also, and this is a rule change. That's 28 feet from the midcourt line down to the end line, and in that area is where all coaches, players, trainers, officials, and so forth must stay when the game has live action. And if the coach or any of those participants get out of that area, there will be a technical foul assessed to the head coach, and 2 shots will ensue. Obviously, 3 technical fouls, and the coach is banished from the game. Really, if the spirit and intent of the rule is fouled, referees aren't going to pay that much attention to it. But if they literally interpret it, we're going to see some real controversies early in the season.
There is another rule of an experimental basis, and that is the 45-second clock, which is being used in the conferences of these 2 clubs, the Metro by Louisville and the Big Ten, of course, by Indiana. Now, that goes the entire ball game.
That goes the entire game and overtime if there were to be one, and this is by mutual consent. When you get 2 teams playing from different conferences or an independent going against a conference member, it's up to the 2 teams to agree to use the clock, and obviously both coaches have.
Well, knowing the personalities of these 2 coaches, you'd have to give Louisville, I think, an advantage today in the coach's box, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think Denny normally stays seated. Bobby, of course, the other way around.
Opening tip-off, controlled by the Hoosiers. Winston Morgan.
Straight man-to-man by Louisville.
Guarded very closely by Milt Wagner. Giomi out on top. Very disciplined offense.
I believe Sumter touched that ball off the board. No call made.
Daryl Thomas with the missed shot. And Louisville brings it down for the very first time. Wagner's pass is intercepted by Giomi.
Billy Thompson really hadn't established himself in the low post. Both of these teams do a lot of similar things on the court. Tough man-to-man defense, good overplay.
Trying to force it inside that time, and picking up the personal foul is Jeff Hall.
One of the things, Frank, if you're going to play for either one of these coaches, and they certainly are at the very top of the coaching level in regard to their abilities, you've got to be a basketball player first and a position player second. Denny really doesn't even have what's called a point guard. Bobby doesn't even know what that term's supposed to mean. So you've got to play the game of basketball.
Uwe Blop over to Giomi. 3-second violation against Indiana. Go against Thomas, so the Hoosiers will turn it over.
And not surprisingly, the defense a little ahead of the offense. Both of these coaches are great in March. Of course, they're great all year long, but they really prime their teams to be ready for March and their conference play in January and February. So this game is almost a trial test for both of them.
Inside to Billy Thompson. Hampered by injuries a good portion of last year, but he's hailing Hardy now. Posted up with Giomi. Thompson gets the shot blocked by Giomi. Here come the Hoosiers. Alford shovels it off to Giomi. 15-footer doesn't go. We're still looking for our first basket of the year.
And Giomi kind of misjudged the quick leaping of Louisville and had to alter his shot.
Bad pass by Forrest. A series of turnovers to open this one up. First basket of the year for the Indiana Hoosiers by Daryl Thomas. The 6'7" sophomore from Westchester, Illinois.
Thomas gets away with a 3-second violation. He's camped in the lane the entire time here. Good penetration on the baseline by Giomi. And there's Thomas, been waiting for him on the other side of the lane the whole time.
Foul was on Forrest, his first.
Excellent shooting technique by Thomas, who was a starter at times last year.
Wagner, as Louisville gets it down quickly with the miss. Here comes Alford. Preseason All-American for Indiana. Nice change of pace on Thompson.
You called it, Frank. A nice change of pace, but I believe he turned that ball over. Excellent move by Steve Alford and a good block out on the other end of the court that he was able to go ahead and get that rebound.
Indiana has jumped out to a 5-0 lead. Thompson inside. Hall.
Great shooter.
That's like a layup for him, isn't it?
One of the best pure shooters in college basketball, was 6th man last year. Full court pressure, 5 seconds, and Bobby Knight will be upset with that. He primed his team to get ready for the press this morning, and nobody came back to help out on the inlet pass.
That was really an experience to watch Indiana walk through their offense in street clothes today, wasn't it?
No stone is left unturned with that clock.
You can see that. Billy Thompson with the miss. Flop gets his rebound.
Indiana looking to run a little bit more this year than they have in the past.
Thought that Morgan might have carried the ball there.
Charging call. Good job by Hall waiting for him on the other end. That's another point of emphasis this year in the rules, to go ahead and cut down a little bit on the advantage the offensive player has had when driving to the basket.
Milt Wagner will throw it in. Wagner was a candidate for the Olympic team and was cut. All-Metro performer.
You notice the matchup there. Winston Morgan, good athlete playing against Wagner. Wagner won't see many guys that size that can stay with him.
First night, as you mentioned, started so many different starting lineups last year. He's got anybody on his bench who's capable of starting.
And obviously, matching up with Wagner, Stu Robinson would be a guy, if the guards were a little smaller, maybe to be in that starting lineup. Good overplay defense again.
Finally, Louisville gets a basket. Manuel Forrest connects with the ball game. 2 minutes and 45 seconds old.
There's that Louisville full court pressure, zone pressure, and then they drop back to man-to-man. They do that as well as anybody in the country.
Flop with the miss from outside. Is that his range?
Well, it was a pretty good shot. He could have taken up the distance, and he can make a shot from there, but I'm sure Bobby'd like to have him in a couple of more feet.
So the tie ball will go to Louisville in this instance. Cardinals in red and the Hoosiers in white.
This is probably the best shooting perimeter team Louisville's had in a long time. When you figure Wagner and Hall and Manuel Forrest can all really hit from the 15, 18-foot range.
Barry Sumter was the backup last year to Charles Jones in the middle. Crum told us yesterday he said Jones may be the best defensive player he's ever coached.
That's a bad shot by Hall. He's well guarded.
Forrest looking for help. Inside to Billy Thompson.
Good job by Giomi. Thompson just can't quite get enough room to get that shot off.
Alford looking for help. Blocked from 17.
That's his range. And Bobby's up off the bench, and there will be a substitute for Uwe Blab, particularly getting beat down the court after missing that jump shot.
Barry Sumter with the layup, and Louisville has the lead for the first time at 6-5.
Sumter may not be as fast as Charles Jones, but he can move for a big man.
He's 6'11". Crum has never had a 7-footer. Inside, Giomi has it ripped out of his hands.
It's a good help by Billy Thompson.
Winston Morgan off to Giomi, 15-footer. Rebound, Thompson.
Great hands by Billy Thompson. He has huge hands and huge feet. Plays a lot taller than he's listed.
And the 6'7" junior from Camden, New Jersey is fouled by Giomi.
I mentioned that maybe we'd see Uwe Blab sit down, and there he goes.
So the first substitute of the ball game is in for the Indiana Hoosiers. It is Todd Meyer, sophomore from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Timeout. Pipeline or whatever, but it's amazing how outstanding ball players gravitate to Louisville from Camden, New Jersey.
Well, they really do. Milt Wagner being the first, followed by Billy Thompson, and then Kevin Walls, who we'll probably see later today. 3 great ones from a high school program that is ranked with the very best in the country over the last few years.
Walls is a freshman who averaged 44 points a game last year, but he's been troubled by a knee injury and hasn't been able to work out as much as he'd like to. Thompson.
Nice move by Billy Thompson to go ahead by Giomi.
Winston Morgan bringing it down for the Indiana Hoosiers.
Although IU is behind at this point, I think the pace of the game favors them, Frank, because of their depth of the talent that they have. This is a pretty fast-paced game and a lot of intense defense being played.
Well, Crum told us yesterday he'd like to play with 6 or 7 players, but he knows he should play more than that to get him experience this early in the year. Sumter with the kick.
Giomi telegraphed that pass. Everybody a little unsteady at this point in the ballgame.
Alford gets it into Todd Meyer, the sophomore from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Meyer is 6'8".
Giomi loves that spot on the floor. Great shooter from the baseline.
It's his first basket. 6'8" junior from Newark, Ohio. 7-6 Indiana. Thompson posting up inside with Giomi. Wagner posting up with Morgan. Hits it.
That's what's so difficult when you play against a Denny Crum team. Everybody has great ability to post up inside. He usually has big guards. And here you see Wagner, who is a guard, going to get down inside almost like he's a center. Get the ball inside from Hall. He makes a turnaround jumper, and with his 6'5" size, even though Winston Morgan's got good size, Bill Wagner hits the shot and goes to the line.
Second foul on Winston Morgan. 8-7 now, Louisville. 14 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the first half of play of the season opener here.
Talking about resetting of the 45-second clock now. Bobby going to sit down. It's interesting when Uwe Klopp came out of the ball game, Bobby never looked at him, and he merely went down and sat down on the bench. You know, different type of reception you get from that coach depends on what he's thinking at the moment.
Wagner completing the three-point play.
I don't think we'll see Uwe take any more 20-foot jump shots.
I doubt that.
There's that full-court zone pressure by Louisville and dropping back into man-to-man.
Cardinals lead it by 2, 9-7. Alford moving one-on-one with Hall. Morgan guarded by Wagner.
Boy, the defensive pressure just great out there by both clubs, overplaying every passing lane.
Todd Meyer having trouble getting rid of it. Here's Wagner. Now we got a whistle.
Now that's his third. Now this is going to hurt Bobby Knight a great deal because he wanted that experience and size defensively. He'll have to make a change here. And in comes Robinson.
Stuart Robinson checking in for Winston Morgan, who has just picked up his third personal foul. And in addition to that, Marty Simmons, who is a veteran starter, comes into the game for Indiana. So again, you see the example of the Indiana depth.
Louisville's defense been outstanding.
Indiana has 14 fouls. Louisville has 2. Billy Thompson taking the cross-court pass over Giomi.
Everybody's waited for Billy Thompson. Some people who didn't realize how much of an injury he had last year thought he didn't have a good year, but he played basically on one leg. He's healthy now, and I think we're going to see an All-American form out of him.
Alford buries that one from 20. Second basket for Steve Alford, who, of course, a very prominent member of the Olympic team, very poised young man.
Meyer not getting good position on Barry Sumter. Good pass coming on from the inside. What's so tough? You've got big guards like Milt Wagner. He does a good job hitting the post because he can throw over the defender when he's guarded by a fellow by the size of Robinson.
So the 15th foul on Indiana here in the first half. The Hoosiers trailing 11-9. Thompson inbounding. Thompson, probably the best high school player in the country, you see him here. Camden, Wagner with the miss.
Are you running?
Giomi missed the shot. A little unusual to see Indiana fast breaking. Wagner carried it.
Now this year, Frank, in television games, the timeout limit has been moved from 3 to 4. And Louisville may have to use some because of the pace of this game. We'll see the turnover right here. There's Wagner carrying the ball over to gain an advantage. Good call by the official.
Down to Meyer quickly. Back to Steve Alford, who runs the show.
Double team. Somebody's got to be open. It's Marty Simmons, and they don't see him.
Inside to Alford. Little baby hook doesn't go.
Simmons was not guarded that time. Indiana didn't see him.
11-9, Louisville. Wagner outside to Forrest.
Thompson wanting that jumper.
Jeff Hall jump shooting over Alford.
Now what Hall's going to find this year as a starter, he's not going to be able to come in the game and get those wide open shots. People are ready for him. He's forcing it a little bit.
Inside to Giomi. Hammered by both Sumter and by Billy Thompson, and they point the finger at Sumter.
That Denny Crum going to the bench. I think he senses the same thing we can feel out here. Is this club getting a little tired right now? You see the foul on the inside. Sumter goes up. Thompson comes from the backside. Although Sumter got the ball, he did a little pushing with the body. So Denny Crum's going to give a little rest here. McSwain coming into the ball game. He's basically his key sixth man. Chris West also out there playing the backcourt. Excellent defender. He's got a lot of speed.
Mike Giolmi. 2 out of 2 from the line. 4 points for Giolmi in the first half. And we're tied at 11. Second time we've been tied. Milt Wagner with the pull-up jumper. Forrest trying to rebound. Got a hand on it. And this foul will go against Louisville.
Manuel Forrest not blocked out on that play. Showed his great quickness and leaping ability. Almost made a great offensive play. Here again at 2-2-1 full court press.
Foul on McSwain, his first. 12 minutes, 25 seconds left to play in the first half. 11-11 in a slow-paced ball game so far. Neither team shooting the lights out. Louisville 5 out of 12.
Traveling. Great help on the weak side of that defense. Just a great help because Marty Simmons had the baseline made.
Go hard, come on.
So nullify the basket by Marty Simmons on the traveling call, and we remain tied at 11.
I look for Wagner to go inside on Robinson, try to get some more post-up plays.
Chris West, sophomore for the Louisville Cardinals. Going inside to Forrest, and traveling is called.
Tried to make the pump fake. Took his feet with him. Boy, Denny Crum going to the bench early.
Well, we were talking to him yesterday. I thought for a while he's going to play 5 guys today, and that was going to be it.
I think he realizes the intensity level of this game is so high that he's got to give the guys a little bit of rest. They're starting to make some mistakes physically now, I think because they're tired.
Herb Crooks, 6'7" freshman, number 41, was the player who just checked in, and Forrest is getting a rest. Louisville has turned it over 4 times. IU 5.
Nice play by Marty Simmons.
Well, he found the open man, didn't he? Did just a great job of finding the open man, Todd Meyer, and he got the basket.
And here's where you can expect a little breakdown by Louisville defensively. You got a young club in there, a club that hasn't played much together.
Once again, here come the Hoosiers. Stu Robinson leading the charge down court to Alford. Hooks the pass back to Robinson. Meyer, Simmons. Pretty good job of passing it around.
Excellent job, but Simmons did something that he's not taught to do. He should have picked up a little slack, got a little bit closer. He could have ended up with a 15-foot shot there instead of an 18-foot shot.
Timeout, 11:29 left to play in the first half. Chris West brings it down quickly for Louisville.
Oh, good help by Robinson.
A real pickpocket job on Mark McSwain by Robinson. And again, the Hoosiers with a 2-point lead.
Louisville pulling back down inside now, really putting their defense packed way back inside. Everybody inside the foul line, they're giving up the jump shot.
Little bumping and shoving going on between Chris West and Steve Alford.
We noticed the 45-second clock. There's going to be roughly 21, I guess it is, leagues around the country, maybe a little higher than that, are going to use the shot clock this year in college basketball. It will not be used, however, during NCAA tournament play.
Foul called on West a moment ago, so Indiana inbounding, and Robinson misses the 15-footer. Off the hands of Louisville.
I think it touched Crook's hands on the way out. Denny Crum really surprising us with all of this substitution, and his 2 key freshmen haven't gotten in the game yet. Mike Abram and Kevin Walls, 2 high school All-American types.
Here comes Blopp back in the game. You still don't like these foreign players playing over here, do you?
Yeah, we'll get into that later in the game because it involves Indiana a little bit.
It involves a lot of schools now.
Yep.
And more, it seems, every year.
I think a good move by Bobby Knight, though, because he's got McSwain on Blopp. Blopp ought to be able to control things inside.
Alford bangs home the 18-footer, his 3rd basket.
Louisville needs a timeout with this lineup here to get back with their starting club.
Alford contesting McSwain one-on-one, and McSwain knocked it down, and Alford thought he should have had the foul call.
McSwain's an excellent athlete. And Denny Crum doesn't want to use these timeouts, but we'll see. A good pump fake by Alford, makes his move baseline, goes up. Look at McSwain coming over, gets all ball with both hands. Good call. Or good no call.
Stu Robinson into Giolmi in the corner. 15-11, Indiana. And get a whistle prior to the shot.
It's going to be on Crook trying to fight through the screen of Uwe Bluff.
Herb Crook, the 6'7" freshman, picks up the personal foul.
Still not in the 1-and-1. Both teams shooting under 40%, which is obviously not characteristic, but I think you can attribute that to this time in the season as well as the good defensive intensity.
16 fouls on Louisville, 5 on Indiana. That's the time remaining in the first half. Just over 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Robinson to Giome. And again, we get a whistle and a foul called away from the ball.
Well, Block had been setting some excellent screens in there. And the minute that he got pushed, referees picked it up, and now see Denny Crum going back with his lineup. He got by with, about 4 or 5 minutes of these subs, Frank. But during that period of time, he lost 6 points on the scoreboard. His club did not score.
Sumter, number 11, is back in, replacing McSwain, who picked up his second personal foul. Billy Thompson also on the sidelines.
Denny Crum letting the referees have it a little bit there. He felt that Klopp was setting some illegal screens. The minute his players retaliated, they picked up the foul.
That's Blobb's first point of the game. 7'2" from Munich, Germany, as Denny Crum looks on. 11 years in his 13. His team has been in the NCAA tournament in the NIT the other 2 years.
13 straight years with 20 wins or more. Amazing record. First time any coach has ever done that.
He's done it faster, reached 300 wins career-wise faster than anyone. 17-11. Indiana with its biggest lead of the game, and Louisville turns it over on the traveling call by Sumter.
Well, credit Indiana with some excellent defense, but when Denny Crum went to that different lineup, lost some of the smooth offensive movement they had early in the game.
That's 8 turnovers by Louisville.
There's some pressure, half-court zone pressure.
Simmons gets it into Giome. Blob with the hook. And they get Blob on the foul.
Uwe has a tendency to do that when he misses a shot, go over somebody's back.
He fouled Forrest in that case. Jeff Hall is coming back into the game for Louisville. Cardinals trailing 17-11, their season opener with 9:15 left to play in the first half.
This is kind of an interesting scene. Bobby Knight sitting down, relaxing. Denny Crum up pacing the sidelines.
That is different. Yeah, I noticed with Indiana, when they switch, they never yell switch. I always thought you were supposed to yell switch.
Well, Bobby is a rules coach.
And it's got to be automatic with that.
Everything is defined by what he considers his rules of basketball. Louisville really looking now to be patient. They're running a play called Marquette. Wagner touched it.
Knocked out of bounds and last touch by Milt Wagner, number 20. And again, Louisville turns it over, and that's the 9th time here in the first half.
Good job by Robinson because he's given up about 3 inches there, plus some leaping ability. Still was able to hit that ball away.
Simmons up to Stu Robinson. Inside to Bluff. Robinson.
That's a good job by Robinson, Frank. When he hit the post, instead of standing still, he moved without the ball, and that's why he got that open passing lane.
Biggest lead of the game for Indiana at 8. Sumter with the miss. Alford. 3-on-1 break. Indiana off to Simmons. Foul.
That's the way to go to that basket. Former Mr. Illinois basketball. Remember last year in our game with IU against Kentucky? He was just a freshman then, and he was our MVP of the game for Indiana. Played extremely well.
Hall picks up his second personal foul, and Billy Thompson will come back into the game for Louisville.
This is the most I've seen Indiana take advantage of the fast break since those outstanding teams back when Isaiah Thomas was here. Of course, when you had that kind of a point guard, you could run on the break, but last year they very seldom went down on the break.
That's the first miss from the free throw line by a Hoosier player. They're 5 out of 6. Marty Simmons. We'll get another.
Louisville's been on 11 points for a long, long time.
Hoosiers are in control right now, 20-11, and Louisville has not scored now in 6 minutes of clock time.
Just excellent defense. You figure when Winston Morgan went out, maybe the defense would slack up a little bit, but Stu Robinson has really done a fine job on Wagner.
Sumter trying to bring Blop out with him, but he won't come. Jeff Hall guarded by Alford.
Clock still has 14 seconds. That's Hall's shot.
He got it. We got a whistle and a foul called underneath against Indiana. Simmons. Let's see if the basket will count. Yep, I believe it will.
Well, you really have to crowd Hall, make him put the ball on the floor, because he's a terrific pure shooter, and his range, as he showed right there, is kind of beyond the 20-foot mark. He can still drill it.
Simmons comes out of the game. Darrell Thomas is back in, and the foul occurring underneath will send Forrest to the free throw line with a 1-and-1 opportunity now. Both teams will be in the 1-and-1 for the remainder of the first half.
Manuel Forrest had to sit down 2 years ago, injured his knee. And this came back strong last year as a starter and looks even better now.
So after the long drought, better than 6 minutes worth. 3 straight points for Louisville. And it ends there, 20-14. Indiana with a 6-point advantage. 7.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
Let's see that. That's unfortunate for Todd Meyer, because Manuel Forrest really hadn't gotten down court quickly, and he ran right into Meyer. I think this is a no call. No advantage call right here. Although they both ran into each other, I don't think that should have been called a foul on the part of either player. You can have contact in basketball as long as there's no advantage. Bobby Knight's upset with that call, too, and I'd have a tendency to agree with him. He is now over there. He should have it.
Well, he looks like he's right on the line.
What do you mean he's right on the line? Speed are over the line, aren't they? Sure, he's over the box. Over the box. No call.
His toes were over the line.
Now, if you're Denny Crum, you might want to bring that to the attention. And I'm sure in the Big Ten, Judd Heathcote now has been all over the referee. I hope Judd's feeling well. We all wish him well. And I heard he's recovering from that heart attack. But he'd have been on that referee when Bobby stepped over that line.
Timeout, 7:32 left to play in the first half. That game coming up after this one is going to be any better than yesterday. You never topped Miami Boston College, will you?
That was, we made the comment while we were sitting here watching practice yesterday. The team that had the ball last would win, but I never thought they meant on the absolute last play of the game.
Yeah, normally you're talking basketball and you talk about that. Indiana ready to inbound, 20-16. The Hoosiers with the lead.
Nice job by Todd Meyer coming back to the ball.
Robinson guarded by Wagner, back outside to Meyer. Meyer's seen quite a bit of action. Alford.
Great block.
Sumter at 6'11", blocking that one. Then he tried to block Thomas, and finally Blob got him.
Well, Sumter was doing the job helping out his teammates, but nobody helped him out with his man. So Uwe Blob got an easy follow-up.
22-16 Hoosiers. Wagner. Robinson really staying tight with Wagner. Slapped out of bounds by Thomas.
Darrell Thomas, got good size, very powerful upper body. Took it right away from Manuel Forrest.
Thomas went to the same high school as Isaiah Thomas in Westchester, Illinois, but he is not related. Billy Thompson, Wagner, back to Billy. Jeff Hall from the corner.
Hold up short. Ball. I believe that you'll find out later in the game. And Steve Alford got a piece of the arm there on Hall on that play. Good defense.
Nice fake by Alford. And then got Sumter completely out of position.
I meant good offense. Excellent dribbling maneuver.
Is that pretty? 4th basket of the game for Alford. Forrest hits. Manuel Forrest with his 2nd hoop. Makes it 24-18, Indiana.
Good assist by Billy Thompson that time to get it penetration inside.
Trying to take it all the way, and we got a whistle and a foul is Robinson. And that's going to be a charge, I believe.
Again, another point of emphasis in the rules this year, taking away some of those advantages the offensive dribbler has had. Driving to that basket or a jump shooter that leans on into the defense.
Thompson inbounding. There's the matchup there between the 2 great guards so far. Milt Wagner of Louisville and Bruce Alford. Tipped out of bounds by Forrest of Louisville. It will belong to Indiana in front of the Hoosier bench.
Good job by Robinson again.
Wagner on top. Trying to force it inside to Billy Thompson, who was double teamed. foul.
Thomas on the foul. That Billy Thompson has such long arms, such strong hands. Well, he's listed 6'8". He's closer to a 6'10" type player. Knows how to post up. There you see him reaching over all the way down to his socks.
He's one of those 3 youngsters from Camden, averaged 9.2 last year. Do you think he has really lived up to the potential he had when he came out as a high school player? They thought he was the best player in the country, wasn't he?
Well, he was considered that. I think it was very unfair to rate him last year at all. We saw him play on one leg against DePaul and do a good job. And I say one leg, I really mean that. There's a little invasion of the lane. Thompson will get the shot over again.
It was on Blopp, who got into the lane a bit early, so Thompson will get one more opportunity.
I think, to cast a judgment on Billy will have to be done this year now that he's 100% physically fit.
24-20.
Good job.
Louisville becking away at this lead. Thomas knocked out of his hands by Hall.
Tried to dribble too far.
Forrest threw it away.
Good hustle by Thomas, coming back and helping out on the ball, but he did not really do what Bobby Knight wants as far as trying to take the ball the length of the court at his position. He's going to come out of there.
Giomi, number 41, comes back into the game for Indiana.
Now here's the kind of man you want dribbling the ball the length of the floor.
Alford. But do you want him going one-on-one with a guy 6'11"?
Well, I think he had an advantage there because Sumter counted on his shot blocking ability instead of getting proper position. Now watch it here. He should be squaring up on Steve Alford as opposed to coming over there late and trying to block the shot. And here comes Delray Brooks, the heralded recruit. His first appearance in the Indiana game.
This young man last year, I think, was touted as maybe the best high school player in the country.
He was certainly one of them. The high school ranks had a lot of great guards last year. He is considered one of the best.
This may be the most automatic thing in basketball, Alford shooting a free throw.
Unreal. All the way back to his high school days. His accomplishments are legendary from that foul line. Made 82 of 83 during the high school championships.
Said it was the first thing his dad taught him was to shoot free throws. His dad was his high school coach in Newcastle, Indiana. Thompson.
Nice job.
Great touch.
Boy, and that was a tough shot going in the wrong direction against a good defender in Mike Giomi. This press is causing problems.
Traveling called on Giomi, and Indiana turns it over with 5:11 left to play in the half. That's 10 turnovers now against the Hoosiers. Turnovers about even.
With the exception of the time that Louisville had to go to their bench, they have been very solid in this game.
Jeff Hall drills it from outside.
Here's the press again.
It's a 2-point ball game now, 26-24.
Emmanuel Forrest done a nice job out there on the press. Boy, great job by Emmanuel Forrest.
Delray Brooks lost control of it, and Louisville will inbound here and a chance to tie.
Well, what do they say? The best thing about college freshmen is they become college sophomores.
That's what the coaches tell you.
Delray's learning that there'll be a little bit higher level of competition here.
Little give and go from Billy Thompson to Milt Wagner. Looked like the old Camden High School play there.
Yep, and Delray Brooks gets rubbed right off here on a great move by Milt Wagner. He's probably going to sit down on this one. And Uwe Blah picks up the foul. That's just a real fine cut by Wagner.
You know Bobby pretty well, don't you?
Yeah.
Delray just sat down.
Well, you do enough of his games, and you get a feel for what he's thinking. And again, both of these coaches using this game as a training ground, and I really admire them for having that kind of confidence to not worry about wins and losses here. They're concerned with how their development is going.
How do you figure they haven't coached against each other, though, being 90 miles apart, 14 years in the same job?
Well, I could see how it didn't happen in the regular season, but with their incredible records in NCAA tournament play, you'd have thought they would have reached each other. Here comes that press again by Louisville. As good a press as there is in the country.
We're tied at 26. That time Simmons tripped, and they're pointing the finger at Milt Wagner, saying Wagner tripped him. Simmons will go to the line, 6'5" sophomore from Lawrenceville, Illinois. Looks a little like a linebacker, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He can handle his weight underneath the boards.
Well, last year he came in here as a freshman, Mr. Illinois in basketball, and this year Brian Sloan, who's Jerry Sloan's son, matriculating in Indiana, was also Mr. Basketball in Illinois. So Indiana getting 2 straight Mr. Basketballs of a neighboring state.
27-26, Hoosiers lead it. Wagner to Billy Thompson, looking inside to Sumter. Cross court instead, they come to Forrest, and the foul is on Simmons.
That's an excellent maneuver when you play against Indiana, to throw the ball cross court, because they get so much help from the weak side on their defense. And when you throw it across court, you may have something available. If you've got leapers like Louisville, you can catch that ball when it comes over.
4 minutes, 30 seconds left to play in the first half. This would tie it at 27.
Emmanuel Forrest was considered one of the top players in the country, too, out of high school, another Louisville product. And looks like now that his injuries are settled down, that he's a lot better ball player.
Wagner's first miss from the free throw line. He's 4 for 5. Tied at 27.
Steve Alford won that turnaround jumper there.
I don't believe Alford's been out yet, has he? He hasn't been for long.
That's great defense by Barry Sumter.
Sumter with the takeaway. Hall to Wagner. Louisville trying to take the lead. Sumter can't hold it. Picked up by Forrest, too.
That was some feed by Billy Thompson. Sumter did a good job catching it, but quite a feed.
Louisville in front, 29-27. Indiana has cooled off here in the last 5 minutes after Louisville had its cold stretch of going 6 minutes without a score.
I'm looking for Alford to take the shot during this sequence.
Traveling on Simmons. That is the 13th turnover for Indiana. Very unlike a Bobby Knight team. Timeout with 3:38 left to play in the first half. And Louisville leads it. Halftime scores and highlights with Pat O'Brien. A lot of big college football games today. And Billy Packer will unveil his top 10. We can't wait.
Yeah, no, wait a minute. I don't want to be on an ego trip there. I got to tell you right off the bat that Georgetown is #1.
Well, the only thing you're really going out on a limb, aren't you?
The only thing I got annoyed with this year is people picking somebody other than Georgetown. I thought maybe it was a personal slap on John Thompson or something.
You're really taking a chance there.
Well, you know.
By the way, we'd like to say hello to a good friend of ours, Elliot Fishman, who is the father of our director, Bob Fishman, who we understand was slam dunked by a pothole in New York and is hospitalized but recovering nicely. And I hope he's up and about soon. Jeff Hall down court to Milt Wagner. 29-27. Louisville leads it. Wagner on the drive. Over block.
Oh, what a shot. There's a super pro right there. He's got the size for it. Great athletic ability.
Louisville has hit its last 5 baskets. Last 5 field goal attempts have gone down for the Cardinals, and Indiana turns it over.
Christy Wagner gets picked up, goes right by Uwe Blab, changes the ball in midair, and even with help from Mike Giommi from the side, hits it anyway. And there was a case where, again, we get another freshman coming in the game, Brian Sloan in the game, and kind of turned his back on that pass.
31-27.
Indiana, what's that, their 14th turnover?
That's right.
It's early in the year, and their offense is behind their defense, but Louisville's creating a lot of those with great play.
Great pass inside to Billy Thompson for the slam.
Good pass, too, by Barry Sumter. He's showing me an awful lot for a fellow that backed up Jones last year.
6-point lead for the Cardinals, who are 6 out of 6 from the field.
I'd suggest Indiana get the ball to Steve Alford a little bit.
Giommi to Stu Robinson, short with a 15-footer.
Nice job by Sloan. Doesn't go.
Can't get it to go.
Good pump fake by Sloan.
Wagner gets it down quickly for the Cardinals. Little 360 move there on Alford, and the ball knocked out of bounds. Alford is a cool customer. Is he not poised? Far beyond his years.
He really is, and what he's accomplished so far, you know, all Big Ten last year, first freshman ever to be the MVP of Indiana team, Olympic gold medal winner.
Yeah, what do you do for an encore? Milt Wagner with the basket makes it 35-27.
Press is causing some trouble.
Louisville is hot. They've hit their last 7 shots from the field. And they've got to cook it. Here's Alford.
Good
shot
block.
deflected. Wagner got a piece of the ball.
Well, you can tell that Steve Alford realized he's got to put something on the board, but he might have forced that one up a little bit too much, and Wagner shows he can play both ends of the floor.
Mark McSwain checking back in for Louisville. He's one of the players who saw some action last year, one of the few in a reserve role.
Slow walk. That's 15 turnovers and a half for Indiana, and I can tell you if these two played in March, 15 turnovers wouldn't happen for the game for both of them. Bobby just kind of relaxed. We were worried about the coach's box. Looks like Bobby just kind of going through the motion here.
It's early in the season.
Yep.
That's the time remaining in the first half. Under 2 minutes. Wagner from the corner buries another one.
What was so great about that play is he caught the ball in his shooting position and never altered, never wasted any motion at all.
Great run here by Louisville, and they've jumped out to a 10-point lead at 37-27.
You know, the only cold streak they had, Frank, is when they had to go to their bench there early in the midway through the first half.
They need a basket, does Indiana.
Walk.
Mike Giommi traveled before the shot. No basket.
That's another point of emphasis this year in the rules, that guys going up for the dunk or that little play inside that shuffle their feet are going to be called for walking a lot more. Obviously, the 45-second clock stays on, so therefore there won't be anybody holding the ball here in the case of Louisville for the remainder of the half to get the last shot. You've got to put it up.
You saw Herb Crook replacing Sumter. 10-point lead here for Louisville, and they've got the ball. McSwain out on top, guarded closely by Meyer.
Oh, good pass by Crook.
Great pass, and unfortunately, Billy Thompson wasn't ready for it.
Well, and Billy pointed over to him. He said, excellent pass. I just messed up on the catch. But that was an excellent pass for that freshman.
Tremendous reaction. 1 minute left to play in the first half. Crook with the foul.
He had the right idea. He just didn't have the right technique. He was going to use the sideline. You can see that's Denny Crum telling that right there. He was going to use the sideline to become an extra defender, but he moved his feet.
Second foul on the 6'7" freshman, and Stu Robinson will go to the free throw line. 6'1" junior from Anderson, Indiana. 77% free throw shooter last year.
McSwain, another fellow with powerful hands. Good hit ahead by Billy Thompson.
Wagner
got a piece of the arm. Stu Robinson got him on the arm. No fall.
52 seconds left to play in the first half. Louisville will inbound.
I think they'd be smart to go for one. They get an easy one off the break. Oh!
How about that one-handed slam by McSwain?
Now, Indiana plays man-to-man at all times, even out-of-bounds situations. You can see early in the year, they really didn't make a good adjustment on that out-of-bounds play. Got an easy basket.
Sloan, nice pass. And then they throw it away.
Well, Indiana, one pass too many, but they've got a very young lineup. Two freshmen out there now.
That's
they just overpass the ball.
17th turnover against Indiana. At the start, we were saying that Louisville was the young team and didn't have the depth.
All right, you look for Louisville to go for one shot here. Spread it out. 22 seconds on the run-in clock, and so the 45-second clock not a factor.
Wagner blocked by Robinson.
Not a good idea by Milt Wagner. There's 15 seconds left.
Crum on his feet looking on now. Robinson puts it up. Thompson blocks it. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. Wagner at the buzzer.
That's a good half of basketball for both teams defensively, and for Louisville, a good job offensively in the latter part.
That is the end of the first half here at Assembly Hall with the score. Louisville 39, Indiana 27.
Really quick on the break, gets it back from Michael Jackson. Then you talk about a silky smooth player. Reggie Williams, the outstanding freshman last year, going to the hoop with a basket. Number 2, and I think this is also kind of a consensus pick right now, particularly after what they did to Oklahoma. Illinois has got a lot of power, and here's one of them right inside. George Montgomery returns at center. Bruce Douglas is one of the best point guards in the country. Shows he can also shoot it. And then Ephraim Winters, really a power man inside. This was a regular season game, but Winters going up against the Twin Towers goes over everybody to stuff it on through. Illinois very powerful. Number 3, DePaul. maybe the best team DePaul's ever had, certainly the deepest. They return everybody back of importance, and Dallas Comegys, who was one of our top freshman players in the country last year with his turnaround jumper. Tyrone Corbin, who's probably the hardest working player in America, back down to Kenny Patterson for the layup. And you talk about a good inside power, and here's Kevin Holmes with a dunk inside. So on the top, Georgetown, Illinois, DePaul, followed by Indiana, who's not looking too good right now, but they'll be there at the end. And Memphis State with the great Keith Lee on the inside.
How about the second five here?
Second five, St. John's, maybe Louis Carnesecca's greatest team with Chris Mullen, the outstanding player. Oklahoma with Tisdale. The West German imports at Washington, LSU with an awful lot of deep talent, and Duke, one of about 4 or 5 teams in the ACC that are going to make a good run at it.
You're not going to be very popular in Las Vegas with your friend Jerry Tarkanian.
Well, I think that Tark has got his guard play to go ahead and establish. He's great on the inside. Richie Adams, a power player. We're going to be seeing him in a couple of weeks going against Georgetown, so we'll be able to determine that one in a hurry.
We will have our CBS coaches poll this year and take a look at the impressive list of coaches that we have lined up for you.
Here is the best group of players that we have that coach. That East club would be very tough on the court. Bobby Duquette from St. Peter's, with outstanding player at Boston College. And they'll be representing us in the East. Of course, Bobby Crimmins at Georgia Tech was a great player at South Carolina. Southeast, which is a new lineup this year in the NCAA tournament. J.D. Barnett, we'll see his VCU club on there. And, of course, Dale Brown be taking his team up to Syracuse. That's going to be a good group. And here in the Midwest, headed up by Gene Caney of Purdue. Digger Phelps will have a lot to say. His quotes will be out of sight. Willis Reed over there at Creighton. I guess they'd have a pretty good center if you're going to use that lineup. And in the West, and a big change this year, the Southwest Conference will be playing in the Western Regional, headed up there by Dave Bliss from SMU. These fellas are going to give us some great insight, Frank, as the year goes on, as to what's going on in college basketball.
We've asked some of these coaches not only to list their top 20, but also different questions. This week we asked them if Georgetown doesn't repeat, who do they like? And I know Dave Bliss of SMU, for one, likes DePaul because they have the great athletes, and Dale Brown of LSU likes Illinois because he feels they can rebound with Georgetown.
Well, Joe Williams from Florida State says he likes Memphis State, and Bobby Duquette, all the way from the East, says he thinks that the sleeper of the year is going to be Vegas. So it's going to be interesting to see how accurate these coaches are.
A lot more basketball to be played here at Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. We'll be back with a look at the first half statistics. We're at halftime. Louisville leading Indiana 39-27.
Return with more NCAA college basketball after this word from your local station. Today's game between the Louisville Cardinals and the Indiana Hoosiers is sponsored by Chevrolet, who invite you to see, drive, and live today's Chevrolet. Owens Corning, our building products put your house in the pink. And by Quaker State Motor Oil, now in new easy to pour and easy to reseal plastic bottles.
Capacity crowd of 17,000 plus here at Assembly Hall awaiting the start of the second half, and maybe a bit surprised that the home team, Indiana, trailing by 12 points. But if you look at some of the statistics, I think you can see why, don't you?
Well, statistically, you can see why, and also the flow of the play, Frank. I think as so many different kids got in the game in the first half and really upset the movement of the team, particularly offensively. Here you go. Here's what you're talking about. Indiana with 17 turnovers, Louisville with 11. A lot of those turnovers just created by a defense that overpowered the offense. And look at this, points off of turnovers. Not only did they create the turnovers, but be able to go down the other end of the court. Indiana taking advantage of them, especially during one stretch there where for 6 minutes Louisville didn't get a point.
The key matchup in the backcourt with Milt Wagner and Steve Alford.
And again, I got to credit in the case of Alford, he didn't touch the ball a lot the last 4 or 5 minutes of that first half.
Louisville had a run in the last 5 minutes and 30 seconds in which they outscored Indiana 19-1.
That's amazing. And you see Indiana shooting 33%. We're talking about a team that prides itself with good patient offense and good shot selection. That obviously not taking place there. There's that stretch.
And it's quite a run, as Denny Crum got to be happy about it. His team hit 10 of its last 15 shots from the field in the first half. And let's see if they continue as they come out to start the second half of play. Louisville to throw it in. Billy Thompson to Wagner. Like both sides going.
Oh, Wagner just lost concentration there for a minute. And Robinson, who really did a good job on him while he was in there in that first half. Look for Alford now to start getting in the offense a little more. Hall did a good job on him, but really, Steve never touched the ball much.
Todd Meyer outside to Robinson. Steve Isle into Alford. Robinson takes the shot over Wagner.
Nice follow through. Robinson, of course, from Anderson, Indiana, played for Madison Heights. Same school that put out Bobby Wilkerson and Ray Tolbert.
Thompson trying to drop it off to Forrest underneath. It belongs to Louisville. Forrest had 10 points in the first half. Wagner 11. The only Indiana player in double figures was Alford, who had 10. Hall throws up the air ball. Thompson is there for the rebound.
Oh, Manuel Forrest doing a super job inside. That's a very quick twosome there between Manuel Forrest and Billy Thompson. They get off the floor so rapidly.
41-29 as Louisville maintains that 12-point advantage from halftime. Chiome on the outside. We've seen just about everybody on the Indiana roster.
Good try.
It'll count. Steve Isle, 6'6" freshman from Hamilton, Ohio, gliding in for the two-pointer.
That's a fine play. Doesn't walk, takes it right to the hoop, goes up strong, gets fouled on the arm, keeps his concentration. Look at that follow. He stayed right with the concentration even after the shot was released.
Second foul on Manuel Forrest. Isle missing on the free throw, and Sumter is hacked on the arms by Chiome.
Not a smart play by Mike Chiome, a very experienced player out here. Was Ohio Player of the Year. An All-Stater. Went over the back.
You think a player like Alford, who played on the Olympic team, has a big advantage since he's played nothing but basketball for almost a year now?
Well, he's a gym rat, so he probably would have played whether he made that team or not. For some fellas, probably was a big advantage.
Thompson's pass knocked out of bounds. The young man we're talking about, Steve Alford, not only played on, but was a mainstay of that Olympic team.
Well, we talked to him yesterday about the potential of burnout. And I think for those kids that were gym rats, it might not affect. But a guy who wasn't used to playing that hard in the summer could affect him a great deal.
Wagner wants some help. Out to Thompson. Billy Thompson going cross court.
Bad pass.
Alford saw it coming all the way.
Great play. Steve used the rim that time to prevent the block. Just a smart play.
41-33. 12-point lead trimmed to 8. And the crowd suddenly coming alive at Assembly Hall. Alford almost added another one.
There you go. There was the telegraph pass cross court. Very dangerous pass to throw. Now here he's going to use the rim. Milt Wagner goes up. Watch him go underneath. Use the rim so the shot could not be blocked. Great play.
Wagner to Manuel Forrest. Sumter on top to Jeff Hall. 18-footer.
Oh, you could have counted that one.
Indiana with a chance to trim it to 6. Robinson.
Chiome was walking, got away with it.
Our Louisville bench was up, thought the walking call.
Nice play by Todd Meyer, sitting right down to make that pass.
Meyer drills it.
Oh, that's just good, solid basketball. And Denny Drum's got to, you don't want to wait for the TV timeout. That'll be coming at the 16-minute mark. But with a run like this, you'd like to calm down this crowd with a timeout.
12-point lead at halftime has been cut in half to 6. And Indiana hasn't missed a shot in the second half. They're 4 out of 4.
Shot clock down to 25 seconds.
Thompson. Foul by Chiome.
Billy Thompson used that dribble between his legs. It really created an opening for him there. And Chiome didn't sit down defensively too well. Picked up the cheap foul.
Third foul on Chiome. 16 minutes, 59 seconds left to play in the game. Again, Louisville inbounding.
The new shot clock back to 45 seconds, of course, and the ball was kicked out of bounds.
Billy Thompson over Chiome. Oh, Forrest went for the slam and missed it. Sumter with the next rebound.
Billy Thompson really doing a job on the boards. Manuel Forrest cannot believe he missed that shot. Here he is. He catches it. I guess he didn't have it in the fingertips. He might have been up too high.
Wagner on on the drive. Nice fake. Gets Robinson out of the picture and gets the two-pointer.
Well, if he's not an All-American candidate, there just aren't any out there.
Milt Wagner hits to make it 43-35. Indiana hot here at the start of the second half. Isle goes inside to Giombi. Goaltending.
Got it out. Took it right off the backboard. There was Giombi. Holden, good position down low. Excellent pass inside. Mike goes up for the shot. The ball had hit off the backboard on the way down. Good call. And a good camera angle there. Now McSwain's coming in.
Sumter will get a rest.
Here's what you have to look out for Louisville. Now, Indiana's making this run against the lineup that Denny wants on the floor. What's going to happen when he has to go to the bench?
Forrest with the jumper.
He got fouled after the shot. No call. Should have been. Isle just knocked it to the floor.
14 points for Manuel Forrest. Alford with the pull-up jumper is short. McSwain with the rebound.
Smart job by McSwain not to try to force that ball out on the break.
McSwain, 6'7" sophomore, off to Billy Thompson.
Thompson really showing some ball handling in there.
Excellent passer in addition to being a great leaper and fine shooter.
Well, he led the team in assists till he got hurt last year.
Wagner, 18-footer.
Oh, what a shot. Just an economy of motion on that shot. He gets the ball in the perfect place and just puts it up nice.
Lead is back to 10. Forrest causes the turnover. Here's Wagner.
Oh, good block by Giombi.
Giombi with the block. Comes down to McSwain. He tries to slam it.
Oh, that ball went in the basket.
It did go in the basket.
The ball went in the basket.
And it popped right back out.
That was 2 points.
Here's Giombi with a rebound off the missed shot.
Now, we're going to see.
Now, that's a correctable error. He has the right to go over the fence, doesn't he?
It's still a judgment call by the referee, but this ball went in the basket. I'll be amazed if it doesn't go in. Sure, the ball's in the basket, and it hit Todd Meyer's hand and bounced back out. That was 2 points.
Meyer had his hand under the net, seemed to bat it right back out. We've got a timeout.
Okay, we've blown this picture up electronically and slowed it down. You can see the ball went through the basket, and then Todd Meyer hit it, and the ball went back out again, and it did not count. Should have been 2 points. I want to make a mention on this. There's a comment in the rules this year that the referees are not to go and use TV replays to make judgments, and everybody can remember outstanding official Mickey Crowley's play in the NCAAs where he kind of got caught there. You're looking at it, but it's probably the right thing to do. But this year in the rules, the comment is the officials are not to come over and look at the monitor.
Steve Isle, the freshman, getting his second basket of the day for Indiana. Makes it 47-39.
I don't know what the rhyme or reason was for Bobby Knight to start Isle here in the second half, but Isle is playing well.
He is indeed.
Wagner trying to post up inside on Robinson.
Tipped away by Giombi. Giombi fighting for the ball. And they say it is off Giombi, out of bounds. It'll be Louisville's ball.
Nice piece of refereeing right there. Yep, Bobby Knight up out of the box. Denny kind of out of the box. I might point out, Frank, too, the box includes the sideline. So if a man steps onto the court,
he can't maybe move to the scorer's table or toward the court.
That's right. It's strictly technical there, and I'm glad to see the officials just ignoring it.
Jeff Hall. Put a lot of arch on that jumper.
Hall is finding out that it's much tougher playing as a starter offensively than coming off the bench for a specific shooting situation.
Elbowing foul underneath called on McSwain, number 10 of Louisville. Indiana with the big bench scoring. Of course, they've got the people, the experience off that bench, and that's what Louisville is lacking.
But I'll tell you, Louisville has gone a long way here with these starters. It's a fast-paced game, and I think around that 12-minute mark, 11-minute mark, Denny may have to give somebody a breather. That's where people fell apart in the first half. Louisville fell apart in the first half.
14 minutes, 15 seconds left to play in the game. 47-39, Louisville. Inbounded to Alford. Down to Stu Robinson. Giombi fakes the jumper. Alford.
That's excellent penetration.
Fire.
Yep, good penetration. Robinson got it started, then Alford kept it going.
Inside to McSwain, playing the pivot at 6'7". Wagner, 2.
That's a nice ball movement there. What 2 reasons why these are 2 of the great coaches in the college game. Their teams play so well offensively.
17 points for Wagner. The attempt at the slam there on the rebound by Giommi fails. And here comes Louisville with an 8-point lead.
Wagner will pull up and take the jump.
He did indeed. Couldn't hit it. Giommi gets the rebound. And Robinson takes it across the center line for Indiana, setting it up for the Hoosiers. Strong move to the hole that time by Steve Isle, the freshman. And he's fouled.
And a good block, so that's not going to be goaltending. Boy, Isle has really shown us something here in this second half. Going to the hoop real well. Defender comes over there, gets underneath. No question about the call. That was manual force. Billy Thompson goes up and smacks it away.
3 fouls on Forrest.
Wagner coming out. And here's, I thought it'd be about the 12-minute mark. Now, Denny Crum's wanting to rest some of his starters. Instead of doing it on a wholesale basis, he's giving them a break one at a time.
Isle with the miss. The last time Denny Crum and Bobby Knight got together as combatants quite a few years ago when Bobby was playing for Ohio State and Denny was in his first year as a coach under John Wooden at UCLA. They were in the Final Four. When would that have been, about 62 or so?
Well, Bobby was in the Final Four in 62, 61, and 60.
Indiana with the rebound. Giommi.
1962 was the year that UCLA and Ohio State were both there together.
Robinson. Todd Meyer tried to drop it inside to Giommi. Saved by Isle.
Isle again with a good play, and then he throws it away.
McSwain with the interception, loops it down to Jeff Hall, who lays it in, and he's fouled.
Well, McSwain just did a nice job on that play to be able to handle the ball in the midcourt area and not panic. That's a tough pass he makes. Lobs it right over the defender. Good catch by Hall. Concentration, takes it right back up inside. He's an outstanding athlete. Good leaper.
8 points for Hall.
It's kind of interesting about Hall's recruitment at Louisville. Denny Crum said Bobby Dotson out, said, I want a tall guard who can shoot. And after Bobby saw Hall play, he said, that's the guy we want, and took the Ashland native right on down to Louisville.
Meyer getting a rest. Daryl Thomas is back in for Indiana.
He's upset that he didn't hit that foul shot.
You know, watching Louisville and the job they're doing today, I can't believe they're only rated the 3rd best team in their conference. The Metro, Alford.
Nice job by Steve coming off the post. But you're talking about Memphis State and Virginia Tech are rated ahead of them. That's going to be a very tough league this year. Florida State's got a good club also.
Billy Thompson finding McSwain underneath for the slam. Little rim rattler for you there. 53-44. 12 minutes, 5 seconds left in the game. Alford guarded closely by Hall.
Again, Barry Sumter coming over with a good defensive play.
Doesn't Alford have to shoot the ball a little more here?
Well, they haven't been able to get him in scoring position. He's making the plays, and you think that Stu Robinson could maybe handle the ball a little more and maybe offer to get open.
Timeout, 53-44. Louisville leading Indiana. Back in just a moment. On CBS doubleheader, NFL action. These are some of the outstanding games. That Philadelphia-St. Louis game, very big one in the NFC East. We're moving down the road to watch Atlanta play Cincinnati. In the second half of the doubleheader, you'll see either the San Francisco 49ers go up against New Orleans or the Chicago Bears take on Minnesota. See that gentleman with the glasses there? That looks just like Fuzzy Zeller. It is Fuzzy Zeller. He lives in New Albany, Indiana. Had a back operation, and we're looking forward to seeing Fuzzy back on the tour when CBS picks up its coverage in Phoenix on Super Bowl weekend.
There's Louisville playing man-to-man out of bounds again. Jeff Hall gets beat by Steve Alford on the baseline. Denny Crum really upset with that. There's a lot of help for Hall out to the middle of the court, but no help underneath the basket.
That is 3 fouls on Hall. He's got 3. Forrest has got 3.
You don't see many clubs play man-to-man out-of-bounds situation defensively when both of these teams do.
Sumter with the miss on the hook. Great play by Sumter underneath. Alford missing from outside. Battle of the boards between Giommi and Thompson and Daryl Thomas. And Thomas, number 24, comes down with the foul.
Boy, it's Billy Thompson. When he goes up there, there's perfect picture shot on a jumper, but look at Billy Thompson rebound. Powerful hands, comes down over Giommi, and there's the hook on the inside by Thomas.
9-point lead for Louisville. They led it 12 at halftime.
Dan Dockich in the ballgame. Everybody remembers the last time or so we saw him when he did a great job on Michael Jordan. Here he is on Wagner. Commits the foul, gets away with it.
Wagner missing the shot, but he may have been fouled. Here's Dockich. Giommi at the free throw line. Had an open shot there, didn't take it.
The way Michael Jordan's playing in the pros, Dockich, when he's 60 years old, will be able to talk about the game he had against Jordan in the NCAA regionals.
Billy Thompson caught leaning in that time. That's his first personal foul.
Still a lot of time to play in this game. You wonder how long Louisville can go without the substitutions.
Louisville has 5 team fouls. Indiana 4. After 7 to go to the 1-and-1 of the bonus.
Easy
Steele.
layup.
3-on-0. Fast break. That's not quite an easy layup, but nevertheless, very impressive by Chris West.
Chris West, a two-sport star, a football quarterback and a basketball player, so an excellent athlete. He put that one away.
Dockich off to Alford, 20-footer.
Good screen to the outside. Look for Steve Alford to get some more shots here.
16 points for Alford. Last touch by Sumter. Indiana gets it, trailing 55-46. About time for a run if they're going to do it.
Well, anybody that plays against Barry Sumter this year as a big man, he better be running, because Sumter gets down the court well. He just couldn't hang on to that pass.
Alford to Dockich, guarded by Wagner. Young freshman doing a good job. Isle, number 32.
Oh, he missed Alford. Alford was open for the jump shot.
Dockich on top to Isle.
There's that passing game with all that team movement.
Patience, passing. Trademarks at Bobby Knight. Turnovers, not a trademark. 21 turnovers.
That is amazing, but it's early in the year, and Bobby Knight is using this game to prepare for other games. That may sound crazy being on national TV and against a major opponent, but that's what he's using the game for. So is Denny Crum. Look at that play.
Billy Thompson.
Wedged in between two and use those long arms. Kind of a la Sam Perkins, who had that ability to go inside like that.
Puts him in double figures with 10. Dockich trying to put it in with the left hand. 3-on-1 break.
If they score here, you'll see an Indiana timeout.
Chris West on the driving layup.
Indiana needs a time right here.
59-46, and that is Louisville's biggest lead.
And they are going to take a timeout. They needed one badly there.
9 minutes, 31 seconds left to play in the game. And the Louisville Cardinals, who led at halftime by 12, now lead by 13. We'll be back shortly after these words from your local station. Oklahoma and Illinois, Wayman Tisdale, everybody's All-American, member of the U.S. Olympic team. For the OU Sooners and for the Illini, among others, Big George Montgomery. This team came very close to making it to the Final Four last year. It's maybe the fastest rematch in NCAA history.
Well, they played up in Springfield last week, and of course Illinois came out on top. But that's not unexpected, Frank, because that Illinois team, returning everybody from last year, 8 out of their first 9 guys. They got Anthony Welch back on that team also, and so it's a strong club.
How's that for select company? That's an exclusive club.
Well, you know, that club gets even smaller in the fact that only Dean Smith and Bobby Knight also played in the NCAA championship, and only Bobby Knight played and coached in all those events, as well as the Pan Am Championship. So he's in a circle of one there, if there is such a term.
Indiana trying to get back in this game. They're down by 13.
That's good. Isle looks good.
Third basket for Isle.
Well, he looks good in this second half.
Very strong. God, it impresses everybody, though, I think, is Thompson. He's a big difference from last year when he was hurt. He's got that spring back in his feet again.
Really does. There's the lob over the guard lob. The play Louisville used a lot. Not a good pass, though, by Billy Thompson on that one. Boy, Isle looks good to me. Good block.
Alford shot blocked by Chris West. And West drives in for his third basket.
Now there's the type of athlete that Bobby Knight had a fear of in this particular game. Because Louisville has as good athletes as there are in the country. And that was just a great athletic move.
61-48. The visiting Louisville Cardinals leading Indiana. Isle over to Dockich inside to Giommi. Hook shot doesn't go.
That was West again that came over there to alter that shot.
Thompson got the rebound down to West quickly. Wagner.
Got an advantage. Again, another point of emphasis in the rules this year. They're really going to watch those offensive players that move both feet before they put the ball down.
16 turnovers against Louisville. The series only in its 8th game. Indiana has won 6 of the previous 7. The last one was played in December of 1959. Isle looking for some help. Just over 8 minutes left to play in the game.
Sloan and Isle in the ball game right now. So you got 2 freshmen out there. Giommi throws up an air ball.
And it brings Bobby Knight to his feet looking down his bench. And Giommi may be headed for a seat on the
nice pass.
Wagner. Was that a pass or a shot by Wagner?
It was a shot, but Dockich got him on the elbow, and it altered the shot so much it turned into a perfect pass.
Perfect lob pass to Sumter the way it turned out. And it's 63-48. Sloan goes to Dockich, driving for the layup, and he's fouled.
Good give and go by Dan Dockich. You know, Dockich always looks to me like the guy that used to play at a college and has been out and he's going to med school or something and down to the local YMCA, starting to get that little, the midriff, you know, he's starting to get it. And he's like 28 years old and he really can't get up and down the floor anymore. He has an amazing body for a guy that is a well-conditioned athlete. And I say that not in amazing like Wayman Tisdale, who we'll see next week.
He's going to love you.
Yeah, well, that's not very nice. I gave him a big compliment on what he did to Michael Jordan. Michael still has to remember that game.
63-49 after the first Dockich free throw. No, we haven't seen block, have we?
I was just thinking the same thing. Of course, the pace of the game and the fact that Louisville's been able to control the style has kept Uwe on the sidelines. And here's Delray Brooks, who got in for about 20 seconds in the first half. Now on Milt Wagner here in the second.
Let's see. Bobby now has at least 3 freshmen.
Yes, 3 freshmen in the game. Only 1 original starter in the game. 3 freshmen and Todd Meyer. There's Uwe.
He's got, well, let's see. What is, Meyer is
sophomore.
He's a sophomore. So 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores for Indiana right now. I'm not going to let you off the hook about the foreign players.
First break we have, I'll give you a little tirade there.
West with the miss. Delray Brooks with the rebound.
Oh, good ball movement there because Daniel Forrest had it set up for the steal.
Alford with the miss this time. West with the rebound.
West is doing a job.
Turned into a running game. Wagner.
He walked again. He kind of slipped and walked.
6 minutes, 54 seconds left to play in the game. Jeff Hall back in the lineup.
Well, credit Denny Crum with some really brilliant substituting here. Although his bench is not deep, he's been able to take 1 guy out at a time. Now he's got a fresh Jeff Hall back in the game. Got a good couple of minutes out of West.
Pass inside from Delray Brooks to Alford.
Steve Alford showing he's a lot tougher than he looks in his makeup. Takes it right down inside. Good job by Delray Brooks. Hits Steve Alford. He goes right inside. Now the defender should have held his ground there was Billy Thompson. If he had, he might have been able to pick up the charge. Mr. Automatic goes to the line.
Alford led the club last year as a freshman in field goal percentage, free throw percentage.
Like the nation?
Yeah, had, what, 27 points against North Carolina. This kid was a freshman.
Well, that North Carolina game was incredible what he did. 9 for 13 from the floor, 9 out of 10 from the foul line, 6 rebounds.
He still supposedly shoots 200 free throws a day in practice. That's the way he become a 90% free throw shooter in the game. Forrest with the turnaround.
Oh, Sloan with a good rebound. Now the freshmen are taking over here.
Brian Sloan to Delray Brooks. Back out to Sloan. And the son of the former Chicago Bulls star gets his basket.
Down to 9, 6 minutes to go here. Delray Brooks moving those feet on Milt Wagner.
Thompson. Thompson loses it. Meyer comes up with it.
You made a good point, Frank. When you get a little tired, you get sloppy both in your shot selection and your ball handling.
Alford. Yes.
Sloan.
That was Sloan going up above the rim. The slam back the shot of Alford.
And look at the Louisville players are walking down the floor, 4 of them. They're a little tired. Louisville wants that timeout for a rest break.
And they get it with 5:39 left to play in the game as Indiana surges.
Here we see Steve Alford going on through. And again, the freshmen take over. Sumter takes himself out of the game, and Sloan goes up and slams it.
In the season opener, next Saturday, Wayman Tisdale and company will seek revenge on the home of the NCAA Basketball Championship, CBS Sports.
Notre Dame, USC, one of the great rivalries in college basketball, and it's coming up next.
Now remember, 38 seconds on the shot clock, and the shot clock stays on for the entire duration of the game, so we won't see a delay game here, and if you're Louisville, you might want to go into one if you hadn't had the shot clock.
I didn't say Notre Dame, USC college basketball, did I?
I don't know. We're into college basketball.
We are now, but that's
right
going to be football, quite obviously. 45-second clock is down to 20.
Louisville bringing their offense out a little higher, trying to free up Billy Thompson or Milt Wagner.
But Danny Crumbs obviously told him to use that time on the shot clock. Forrest.
Oh, what a play by Manuel Forrest. Indiana did it. Oh, he's hurt, and he's going to have to run it on off. Indiana really did a good job stopping Wagner that time, and Thompson just wouldn't let him have the ball.
Forrest limping a little bit, came down at his ankle. 16 points from Forrest. That's a career high. Delray Brooks with the miss.
Keeps it alive.
Rebound saved by Indiana. They get a fresh 45 on the clock.
Sloan, good pass.
Pass inside to Meyer. Meyer couldn't handle it, and Louisville will take it on the turnover. Indiana's bench has outscored Louisville 25-10.
That's not surprising, but in the second half, I think Danny Crum has got an excellent play out of his bench for those little periodic rests you need to give the starters. First half, they're a little disconcerting.
Tipped away by Brooks.
He's quick.
Delray Brooks.
What a block!
Rebound by Meyer. Is fouled by Wagner.
What a block by Milt Wagner. Now, he put Meyer on the floor there, but that was probably a good foul. Delray Brooks showed some quickness, but he went up against an All-American here. This is some play by Milt Wagner. All ball, traps it against the backboard. Now watch his hustle to get back here. Realizes Meyer is open and goes up against him and pulls him right down to the floor. This is some play. Two outstanding athletes going up against each other. Here's what I like about Wagner. He realizes that he's got to get back in the play and comes right back on Meyer.
Meyer on the free throw line. 7th personal foul, by the way, on Louisville, so Indiana will have the bonus the rest of the way.
The question you've got to ask is how come Meyer was the only one down the court? There was some other fellas in that play that didn't hustle. Giomi back in the game. It's getting tight, Frank.
And getting interesting. McSwain is also back in the game for Louisville. 4 minutes, 14 seconds remaining.
Bobby Knight still playing with 3 freshmen.
Sloan fouling Thompson. Brian Sloan, 6'8" freshman out of Illinois.
There's Jerry played for Evansville, and there's Bobby, who the coaching box is not involved at all here today. This is, of course, not March in the NCAA tournament either. And don't be surprised that maybe they get matched up in that tournament.
Wagner guarded by Brooks. McSwain. Time left in the ball game. Thompson with a turnaround jumper.
Some shot. There's an excellent defense by Sloan.
12 points for Billy Thompson. 9-point lead.
Good pass.
Inside to Giomi with the hook shot.
Oh, that was some pass by Delray Brooks.
A lot of talent on the floor right now on both sides. Steal by Alford, but he couldn't hold it, and Jeff Hall got it back.
You think people in Indiana like their basketball? They're on the edge of their seats here with this one.
First game of the season. Thompson shot a glance at Denny Crum for instructions. To Sumter. Hall.
Boy, Hall can't get it to drop.
Sumter saves it to Billy Thompson. Sumter.
Counts.
Basket will count, and he's fouled.
That was just great ball handling. Those passes were on the mark, and they were soft. When you're usually that close to a man and you're passing the ball, it's hard for him to handle it. Well, watch how soft these passes are. Billy Thompson played a great game, keeps it alive. Sumter goes back to Thompson. Nice soft pass. Now watch Thompson's pass to Sumter. Just perfect to catch. Great play. Great play.
Sumter has only 6 points, but he's made his presence felt in this ball game. 9-point lead for Louisville as we hit the 3-minute mark. Indiana.
Considering how experienced Indiana is, they've got an awful lot of inexperience on the court right now. 3 freshmen.
3 freshmen. This is one. Delray Brooks. Missing. Gets the rebound. Drives in. Scores.
He's going to be a player.
3 freshmen playing their very first college basketball game. Trying to bring Indiana back. 69-62.
There's those that say freshmen shouldn't be eligible for college sports.
Traveling on Thompson. Thompson thought he was fouled by Sloan.
Sloan's doing a good job on Thompson. Look at the size on Sloan. He's a good solid 6'8".
Two minutes, 25 seconds left to play in the ball game. Louisville leading 69-62. Timeout, Indiana. Players, and should they be allowed to play on basketball teams in the United States?
Well, I think it's kind of appropriate here to bring that up, Frank. Indiana won 46 straight soccer matches, okay? They had been ranked #1 in the nation. They got beat by South Florida the other day, and it knocked them out of #1 position. You know who's #1 now in the NCAA soccer? Alabama A&M. The NCAA tournament will be coming up here next week. And Alabama A&M is a team that doesn't have an American citizen playing in their first unit. All their players are from Nigeria. And it just points out that that is not something that is an isolated situation. There's Uwe Blab from West Germany. I really, I'm of the opinion that NCAA points should be scored by American citizens and not as a training ground for foreign athletes.
The basketball or soccer or tiddlywinks.
That's right.
69-62. Delray Brooks.
2 in a row. Boy, he wants to play.
5-point lead for Louisville with 2 minutes left to play. Indiana has trailed the entire second half. They were down 12 at halftime.
It's amazing with the lineup that they have out here with the 3 freshmen. Just have a lot of ability. Good play by McSwain.
McSwain, number 10, guarded closely by Sloan. Over to Billy Thompson.
Milt Wagner wants it inside, but Delray Brooks is such a good athlete. Oh, great play. Oh, he's going to take the basket away. I can't believe it.
No basket. No basket.
Oh,
charging on Thompson.
I believe the ball's been released on this one. Thompson goes up. Oh, that's a hairline call. Takes away the basket and calls a foul on Thompson. And Denny Crum does not like that call.
3 personals on Billy Thompson, and Indiana with a chance here to trim the lead to 3 points with 1:31 to go.
Hoffman with a good reverse dribble, looking for that jump shot, but patient enough not to take a bad shot.
The Delray Brooks, and Brooks traveled. Costly turnover. Boy, is that big.
That's right, Delray Brooks, the expression on his face, one of anguish. And Bobby Knight not upset with that. I think he likes his hustle out there.
He has certainly seen some things he can be happy with, even though Indiana loses this ball game. We are at Assembly Hall on the campus of Indiana University in Bloomington. 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining in this season opener between these 2 preseason top 20 teams, Indiana and Louisville. And Louisville leading by 5, the timeout situation. The Cardinals have 2, and the Hoosiers have 2.
You know, everybody talked about Indiana being a top 5 team in the country this year. Everybody knowing how tough the Big Ten's going to be. But when you made a good point, Frank, earlier when you said Louisville is picked to be 3rd in their conference. being from the Metro, just shows you the tremendous depth there's going to be in college basketball this year.
How about all the starters back in the Big Ten this year?
37 starters back. Most of the key
players.
Right, most of the key guys in the backcourt back, and that's where you want to be strong. Here's an interesting substitution also by Denny Crum. No delay game available because the clock is running.
That's James Jetter, number 25. And the reach-in foul there goes against number 32, Steve Isle.
Now, Jetter had not been in the ball game previous to that, and you cannot freeze the ball because the clock is running. Now, Sumter probably coming into the game to play a little defense, get some more size on the court.
The Indiana bench has provided 25 of Indiana's 37 points in the second half.
What Denny Crum may be doing is saying, hey, look, with 1:04 to go in the game, if I get possession of the ball twice, I'll go ahead and freeze it on out. Big free throw.
Jetter making it a 6-point lead.
You know what's amazing about this guy? 4-time state champ of the mile in the state of Kentucky. How often do you see a basketball player that's a great miler? First one I've ever heard of. Big free throws. That may have sealed it.
71-64, Delray Brooks driving into the corner. Back to Sloan.
Good pass, a little low. Good idea. Giommi should have sat down a little bit. Now here, trying to get Hall in the ball game quickly as Denny Crum gets Sumter out. I think you'll see Denny try to sit on that ball the rest of the way. So he gets an absolute layup.
53 seconds left in the game. 7-point lead for Louisville.
This is a big win, Louisville.
Alford dogging Jenner down the court.
It looks like he can handle that particular. Ooh, that could have hurt.
Sloan guilty of the foul.
Hope Manuel Forrest gets up on that one. That was almost like a side body block.
Well, Forrest shake it up a little earlier. Looked like maybe twisted an ankle after going in for a shot. This is a career-high game for him. 16 points.
There won't be many teams that can put together bookend forwards like Manuel Forrest and Billy Thompson.
He's also got 6 rebounds and is 4 out of 6 from the free throw line.
I believe the Metro Conference has back every member of their starting all-conference team last year. You know, John Williams from Tulane's back. You got Keith Lee back. Milt Wagner's back. Gibson from Florida State's back.
Louisville putting it away on the free throw line here in the last couple of minutes. 73-64. 35 seconds.
Last year, Indiana lost to Miami of Ohio early in the season, too. So
lane violation called against Giommi, so Indiana will turn it over perhaps one last time.
And here's Jeter back in the ball game to handle the ball.
Boy, that's a half a season's worth of turnovers. 25 for Indiana today.
They know what they've got to work on.
And knowing Mr. Knight, you know they'll be working on it. Maybe after the game.
Well, yesterday talking to Steve Alford, he said, I hope we win so I can go watch my brother play tonight, because if we lose, we'll probably be out here practicing.
Thompson off to Forrest, running down the clock. 15 seconds to go. They can just run out the clock here.
Well, it's a good ball handling team on the court right now. That's a layup.
Hall gets the basket, and the few Louisville fans here who are behind the bench are ecstatic. Over 17,000 fans in Louisville had 50 tickets allotted to them for this ball game. And they are happy indeed as they come up with a 75-64 victory in the first meeting ever between Bobby Knight and Denny Crum. Louisville leading by 12 at halftime, really got it going late in the first half with a 19-1 run in the last 5 minutes and 30 seconds. That's our final score here at Bloomington, Indiana, 75-64. And we'll be back with you shortly. Who had an absolutely outstanding afternoon. 12 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He was all over the court. And Steve Alford, the great sophomore guard from Indiana, 18-point performance today, 3 assists and 3 rebounds. And a check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated by Chevrolet to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields. So a little different situation this year for Louisville after opening last year. With the loss to Kentucky, they come back on the road this year and beat Indiana 75-64.